I think the real issue is the sheer indiscriminacy of what he did, and indeed what you did. The leaks covered huge areas of genuine security. There is no accident that one of those who was involved, Ed Snowden, is now in refuge in Moscow. To make an equivalence between, as I'm afraid, and Jeremy Corbyn does, between us and as it were, the West and Russia and China is monstrous. I find, again, the tweet from Corbyn shameful. Here is a man who invariably sides with the enemies of Britain, who sides with terrorists repeatedly, who supports regimes which commit outrages. The only outrages he's interested in are a tiny little fragment that suit his political agenda.
Shouldn't we, as British citizens, be holding our own government to account? Because I remember when I saw some of the material that WikiLeaks published, I remember with the Afghan war logs in particular, seeing civilians being shot down as though it's a video game, and I remember the disgust that I felt at that moment in time. It was undoubtedly in the public interest for us to know what is being done in our names. That's why Jeremy Corbyn is correct to speak on it, and that's why all of us should be able to separate our personal feelings for Julian Assange from the legal process that he is now facing for shining a light on that wrongdoing.
I'm afraid modern war is horrible. And there's no point in pretending that it's anything else. There are invariably civilian casualties. And the attempt at pretending there can't be is silly, and particularly in dirty wars like Afghanistan. Look, I am second to none in my hatred of what happened in Iraq. I think our liberal interventions, that have been invariably couched as liberal interventions wherever they are, be it in Iraq, be it in Afghanistan, be it in Libya, have all been catastrophic. That's not the issue. We do not bear a unique burden of guilt. We at least try to do good. We very often do desperate harm. But I think I think, frankly, it is wicked to equate the behaviour of the West with the behaviour of Russia and China and regimes like that, which, of course...
Should we not hold ourselves to higher standards?
Well, now, this is a very interesting point. Not if it's self-destructive to do so. And I think that the problem is that this so easily turns into the hatred of the West, which, of course, Corbyn exemplifies. Corbyn and his branch of the left fundamentally hate Britain, hate Britain's allies. They do, and will do everything to damage them.
Absolute nonsense.
On the contrary, the evidence is overwhelming. Give me some evidence that I'm wrong.
All right, I can give you some evidence. The other week, I was at a talk where Jeremy...
That's called an anecdote.
Anecdotes are a form of evidence, Professor Starkey.
Are they really?
Yes,
now,
they are.
Isn't that fascinating? I thought you were an academic. Shall we move on to another topic?
I want to hear your anecdote.
This is, I think, a really damaging trend in our public discourse, which is if you criticise the way that Britain has been run by elites, the outrages that have committed in our name, you are cast somehow as a Britain hater, rather than someone who wants our country to be run better in a more just way, in a more egalitarian way. And the reason why I think Jeremy Corbyn most certainly doesn't hate Britain is because I listened to him at a talk just the other week and watched him celebrate the history of the abolition of slavery, the trade union movement, the Chartists. That's not someone who hates British history or tradition, rather someone who's interested in preserving the best aspects of it.
Is that the best aspect? There are 1,000 aspects of our history. And again, this brutal selectivity is deeply damaging and profoundly divisive. And sorry, I think if you look at Corbyn's record on the IRA, on terrorism, am I not right, Will? And I'm sure you could, because you've got that kind of mind, you could give us real evidence as opposed to a little background.
OK, we are going to park that there for now and move on to the much easier topic of Brexit.